everyone. We are joined today by Josh, who is the Director of Esports at Winthrop. For those of you who are uninitiated or unfamiliar with, anything related to NA Challengers or Ascension this year, Winthrop is the first collegiate team to not only make Challengers, but they also placed fourth at this year's Ascension. And honestly, for the last few years, they've been doing very well in Collegiate as well. I think they won NECC last year, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it's a very I found it to be a really fascinating story, so I thought we would go right to the head honcho and see how the sausage is made and all that. So, hello, Josh. First of all, happy Halloween. How are you feeling today?
Thank you. Thank you. Happy Halloween. Feeling good. I just got out of my jack-o'-lantern costume and into my professional polo fit for this call. So, feeling good. Ready to go home and have some trick-or-treaters and watch some Halloween movies. So,
Out of
in
curiosity,
spirit.
first question: what's your favorite candy, like to give away for Halloween or to
Oh,
eat, or
the Reese's pumpkin is pretty undefeated, I think, for
Mm,
Halloween. Yeah.
I do like the
How
pumpkin
about you?
ones. I'm just a Twix girl. I always like Twix. I'm very basic.
Twix is second for sure.
It's the classic. I To be honest, I'm not much of a peanut butter fan. In my chocolate, I like it with peanut butter and jelly, but not with chocolate. But yes, I do like the Reese's cups for what it's worth. So they're probably the exception. I don't like Snickers. But back to serious talking. So how did how did the Winthrop project start? Since you're the director right now and you were there as a coach, you've been around since the beginning.
Yeah. So the Winthrop Esports program got its start when our president at the time, Dan Mahoney, and our athletic director at the time, Ken Halpin, um, were teaching a class together on sports management and sports business. And they have a section about esports in their sports business course. And they got together and they started thinking, maybe we should start an esports program here in athletics and have it as a sport for Winthrop. And I was at a different program at the time. I had started the program at St. Ambrose University in Iowa, and but I'm originally from this area. And I saw they put the post out. They were looking for a head coach to come in and start the program. And I reached out. I said, "Hey, I've only been doing this for 9 months at this point, but I'd really like to have the opportunity to come back closer to home and build this thing. And here's what we've been able to do at Ambrose. We've kicked butt for the first 9 months of my time here. We've punched above our weight class, and I feel like I can do that at Winthrop too. And so they had me out for the interview. I got to meet people on campus and see the campus. I was blown away by how beautiful the campus was and the resources um, that a Division One NCAA athletic program has for their sports, and that we would be one of those sports, and we would seemingly, share in those resources. So, walking into a full, basketball coliseum and seeing the banners in the rafters and all that stuff, all the Adidas logos everywhere and all that stuff. It was just like, yeah, this is the big leagues. I want to be here. I want to build a program here. I think I can build something successful. Um, and we have built that program up. It took a while. We had to build out the foundation, but we were very competitive right out the gate. 2018, or I mean 2019 when we got started, we were top three in Overwatch right off the bat, and in League of Legends, we ended up finishing second in the only tournament that actually finished that year in the spring because that was the COVID year.
COVID year.
So we kind of came in and just started crushing it right off the bat in collegiate, and so we've now 2025, 6 years on, we were a part of that like big early foundation of collegiate, and now we're leading the way. Um, in the continued growth of the space.
100%. And I mean, I think across your collegiate teams, like you mentioned, all of them have seen success at several points across the timeline that you mentioned. But, focusing on Valorant in particular, when did you guys decide, okay, let's jump into Valorant? The game is good enough, or we want to make a Valorant team?
Yeah. So the beta came out for Valorant um, in uh
2020
was it
June.
2021?
2020 June.
Um,
Before June. Just before June.
yeah, that's right. And so we had some players who were playing Overwatch for us that um they started playing this other game, Valorant, and they were like, I actually enjoy this game more. Um, I don't want to play Overwatch anymore. I want to play Valorant. And I was like, oh man. So I have half of an Overwatch team and half of a Valorant team. So it kind of got built out that way on that we just had players who didn't want to do Overwatch anymore. We still wanted to keep them around because they were really good players and they wanted to do this Valorant thing. So we had 3 Valorant players and 3 Overwatch players. So I had to expand into
Two different teams.
rebuilding. Yeah, I had to rebuild my Overwatch team and then build a Valorant team as well. So um, that first year, um, we were competitive, but we weren't like crushing it by any means. And we kept trying to recruit it, but with new games, it's tough to recruit for Collegiate because there's this cycle that exists for every game in Collegiate um, where going to college initially feels like you're giving up on your professional aspirations, which isn't the case, but it takes a game maturing before that becomes um, like an acceptable path for players. So we've seen that happen in League of Legends, we've seen that happen in Overwatch, and now we're seeing that happen in Valorant now, where players are like, okay, I can go to college and still pursue
Esports.
tier one professional Valorant. But at the time, back then that wasn't the case. So, it was tougher to get a player to want to move to Rock Hill, South Carolina and go to college here while also, competing. Um, so it took some time. It was one of those things where, you know, we had to test the waters to see if it was something that we wanted to put resources in. Because initially we didn't, go full into Valorant, and um, I think we really didn't start pushing hard into the game until fall 2022.
Mm.
So we had a team for 20 fall 20 and then the entire 2021 year. Spring 2021, I was at the Collegiate League of Legends Championship. Or no, it wasn't 2020. 2022. I was at the Collegiate League of Legends Championship, and there was talk about, okay, we're going to do Collegiate Valorant next
Ooh.
year. We're going to do, this same model that
Circuit.
we do for League of Legends for Valorant. And it was like, okay, all right, I can get into that. We can do that. So we built. I was at that event doing calls with players, Valorant players, for, hey, do you want to come to Winthrop? We're putting a project together. We're building a strong team. We had really good players that were interested. But again, at the same time, there was that stigma about going to college, and still being able to pursue pro. So, but we ended up having that first semester team, in 2022 with Moobs. Was Moobs? Oh God, Moobs A77. Call Me, Flare, um, and Nasi. No, wait, Nasi came in the spring. Um, but yeah, so we were building something, some positive momentum, um, there, and we ended up making it to the CVAL championship that year and finishing second to Northwood.
Mm-hmm.
So, we were keeping that momentum forward, and then that fall it seemed like everybody was then investing in
Well.
Valorant at the collegiate level. So we had Maryville coming in with their big roster that they built out with, Eccles and those guys, and other schools, were going all in as well. So that's when it really got super competitive. We ended up bringing in a bunch more players for that fall, you know, to mixed results. But that was the point where me and Dallas, our manager, our Valorant manager, had a conversation of like, okay, what is the long-term goal of this Valorant team? Like, what are we trying to do? And it it really is to bring players in to try and help them like follow that dream of getting to tier 1. And it was like, okay, well, how best can we do that while still, being a successful collegiate program? And I told Dallas, I was like, I want these guys to compete together in everything. I want them to play every tournament out there together. If it's collegiate, if it's not collegiate, I want that, the Winthrop core to be together for all of that. And I was like, yeah, we'll play um, the qualifiers for tier 2. Like we'll see
Challengers
if
and
we can
stuff,
make
yeah.
that. And yeah, and it was like it was like such a far-fetched goal that a collegiate team would actually be able to qualify. But we were like, well, we're going to push for it. And I, having conversations with all the players, bringing them in, I was like, you guys are going to play together and do these qualifiers and try and make challengers. And they're like, dude, that would be crazy if we could make challengers. But yeah, we'll try. We'll try. But the sentiment at the time was that no college team could make it to challengers. No college team could hang with a team of 5 players whose entire
Life is like
life
pro.
is built around competing in Valorant. So it was fun to prove them wrong.
So, talking about this year's team, putting people together. I mean, I remember Moves because he's like the OG. I think he
Hmm.
retired for a bit in the middle and then came back, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And of course, I know Governor because he was over playing in Pacific for a bit, and
Yep.
you got an actual VCT pro. So, was it weird for him going from like tier 1 to collegiate or something?
No, I think he's such a good student. He might be the best student on the team. He's really come into this. Um, he's really taken to it well, like being a student athlete for the Winthrop team. Um, he was a very much needed um, like veteran presence, like his leadership and his maturity with the team has been really good. He's been a good steady hand for those guys to have. It was good to bring him in and to bring in Connor as well, to bring in Glyph. You know, to be that like strategic IGL that we needed, someone who could really call,
Mm-hmm.
um, to the level that we needed. Before this roster iteration, the model of the program or the way that we played was just all right, infiltrator, get him. It's like the Tom and Jerry cats at the door pointing, and he's going through the door. If he gets one, then we probably have a good round. If he gets two, maybe we win it, and if he gets zero, we probably lose the round. And it's just like, okay, we're
Sounds like
we're,
my
we're
rank
playing coin flip
games.
game. Yeah. So um but now we're able to do a little bit more, and I think that was important for us to take that next step. Getting Glyph and Gov was really good for elevating.
I also noticed that one of the players that you have was actually signed as the coach for the team and ended up transitioning. So how did that happen?
That's a fun story. So Ali was one of my first Valorant signings for Winthrop. He played here in fall of 2021 and then transferred to Northwood after that
Ooh,
semester. Yeah,
the
but
betrayal.
I never held it against him. He can tell you that probably once a year he's reached out about coming back, and once a year I've reached out about him coming back, and it's just never synced
Aligned.
up, the timings or whatever. And then this past year I reached out to him because the team's been coachless a bit for periods, and I was like, hey, look, I know you don't want to play anymore. Like, we had a conversation. He was like, hey, I think I'm done playing. I was like, what do you think about learning how to coach? And the plan was to bring him in here and like put him with the academy team and basically say like, hey, work with our academy roster and like develop yourself as a coach, learn how to coach. And then he came in and immediately the guys were all like, no, let's try him out as coach with the team. And so he was coaching the main roster while he was here. and you know, to mixed results. I mean, I think like he was starting to get that itch again to like,
Play.
I think I want to play again. Um, but at the same time, we were having some, I guess, some internal roster issues where we feel like we weren't getting exactly what we needed out of the team at the time, and um, we just needed to make a change. Like sometimes you just need to like change something up. So the team came to me and said, "Hey, we want to try we want to try a week or two swapping in Ali and to play." And I was like, "Did Ali say it was okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, he doesn't really want to do it, but like he's down to do it." And I talked to Ali and he was like, "Yeah, I don't like I want this to be like a temporary like solution. Like I'll play for a week or two and then we'll swap back." But we swapped them in and we were like the results were so positive that it was like, I'm sorry, Ali, like
You're stuck here, bro.
you can't go back, you know. And I think it was fine because I think like over the time, like maybe not in those first couple weeks, but over time, like going to the LAN events and stuff like that at the end of spring and stuff like that, I think he kind of had that passion to play reignited. And I think that was really evident in Brazil
Mm.
with him. Like he was very much like, I think he played more Valorant than everybody else on the team. We got back from the we'd get back from the matches, and if if they had free time, he was streaming Valorant,
Wow.
playing ranked. And before the matches in the morning, he would get up and play Valorant. We got to the we when we got to the
Arena.
to the studio, he would play. Yeah, he would start playing ranked. So I mean, he was like such a grinder, and it was really cool. He actually picked up a lot of Brazilian from playing in those ranked matches to the point where he was actually like by the end of our time there, he was like our translator. I think he could actually like probably sign for one of the Brazilian orgs and be just fine, to be honest. So, but
Alternate
yeah, I
career
mean,
path.
his passion is back. He's
The fire is
he's
back.
for now, yeah. And I mean, if he ever wants to go back to trying to coach, like, I'll give him that opportunity again too, probably at some point. But for now, yeah. I mean, it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I think it's a really cool story. Just having a team that fits together like that. Talking about this year's runs, this year's achievements. What would you say is the best moment of the year for you guys, and the worst moment of the year for you guys? If you have to pick one, I know there's a lot of them, but you
Man.
gotta pick one.
Of all of 2025
Mm-hmm.
or
2025, just 2025. I don't want to make
okay.
it too hard for you.
Um man, I think the best moment, I mean, it was probably winning to make it into playoffs in Brazil. Like we were at that point where we were so much further than where like anyone had ever thought we would make it. I mean, every Twitter poll I saw or whatever, every tier list had us, you know, bombing
Somewhere,
out in the play-ins
yeah,
or at the very least, making it to the Swiss stage but um not progressing to playoffs. And then, we won, we made it to playoffs. Like that was huge. The guys were, you know, emotions were high. It was great. Yeah. I think the lowest point of the year, I mean, it's gonna sound lame because like it, it's a it would be a high point for some teams, but we finished second place in pretty much every single collegiate like LAN or tournament that there was to end the semester off. We traveled out to Dallas and we finished second at CECC to Maryville, and we drove down to Orlando to play NACE and we finished second to Maryville, and then we went to the CVAL finals, like the big end of the year let's win it all championship
the ones you won
in
last year.
Raleigh, and we played Maryville and we won map 1 convincingly, and I was like, okay, we're not finishing second, we're going to have one first place at the very least. And then they won every map from there on. And so I think you know,
So you're the
finishing
fanatic of
second.
Collegiate this year.
Yeah, yeah, finishing second to Maryville in every collegiate finals of the spring semester. Um, and again, like I said, a lot of schools would be thrilled to to make it to the finals, but it just it doesn't feel good to get that close and lose that many times in a row.
I can imagine, but I mean, yeah, you guys have like a record of winning collegiate events as well. If you look at the previous years, so not winning a single one
Yeah,
must be like a bit difficult.
yeah. We don't have a ton of hardware from the Valorant team as far as like collegiate events go. So, I have a lot of trophies from the other games, and I think this year it would be really nice to get a CVAL championship um, from the Val team.
Mm.
I think that would really fill out the collection well,
This year is the year. I mean, if you can make fourth at Ascension, I'm pretty sure CVAL's gonna be
right?
like a piece of cake. You guys got this totally.
Hope so. Yeah, hope so.
And talking about collegiate esports itself, I think that Winthrop is kind of the one, like you said, really setting the stage, leading the way. So what would you say are the biggest things that differentiate Winthrop as a college, as a university from other universities who are also in, who have collegiate teams, aside from how many you guys have?
Yeah, I say there's a couple of programs who are really doing it well out there. You know, not just Winthrop, but us, Maryville, St. Clair. There's a couple who are really pushing the boundaries of collegiate esports excellence. I think you know what sets us all apart is just having that foundation, having that culture at our program where um, our university buys into esports at such an incredible level. These guys always feel supported here. These guys know that they have the support of the program. Our athletic director Chuck is always on Twitter shouting out the program,
Aw.
quote tweeting in the comments, all of that stuff. Even other staff and players at other schools have always pointed out to me is like, man, you guys are so lucky to have the support that you have. And I do think that having that like with this with these guys like goes a long way. This program's super supported from the school. We treat this program like any of our other D1 athletic sports here. So these guys have the same resources and opportunities as the baseball team, the basketball team, etc.
Can I
We have a 65. Yeah,
Sorry, I just wanted to ask. So, for those who are watching who might not be from America, can you give like a quick example of what D1 resources usually entail? Because I feel like that would add a nice
yeah.
bit of
So
context.
for sure. So in the collegiate athletics landscape, there's different tiers to competition. Um, there's NCAA D3, NCAA D2, and then NCAA D1, which is the highest level. There's there you have to provide a certain level of resources to qualify as an athletics program to even compete in D1. So your D1 programs are those kind of best of the best athletic programs in the country, and there's only a couple hundred schools in the country who are D1 in athletics. So, and Winthrop's one of them. And yes, so I mean, these guys get those same resources like being able to sign up for classes early so that like a student athlete would so that they can make sure to build their schedule around their practice times and build
Mm,
their schedule around match days and things like that. That way we don't run into those issues and these guys can build a balanced schedule where they're taking care of school, they're taking care of all of that stuff and still having time to practice, having time to play their matches and stuff like that.
mm-hmm.
Um, we have a 6,500 square foot facility for our esports program.
I think I've
Our
seen
varsity
pictures.
players, our varsity players all have their own dedicated rooms with dedicated spaces for them with their own dedicated PCs. So
Wow.
so yeah, we you know we give them the resources that they need to compete at the highest level. Um, and the support from the university definitely goes a long way to you know the results show.
100%. I think that the results have been really good, and you were talking about your goals and that eventually you want this program to be kind of a stepping stone for people to go from, just dreaming of playing while being in university to actually getting to tier 1. And I think that you've
Right?
definitely managed to get closer to that this year. I mean, I think a couple of those players on your team definitely could be in VCT. I mean, especially considering how some of the VCT teams are. No comments.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Anyway, um, jokes apart, though, I mean, uh, this year so far, you guys have achieved a lot. Next year, do you think you'll be having the same team? And what is your ultimate goal? Like, if you had to set one goal, especially with the changes coming to challengers and the additional
Yeah.
stipends and stuff, what would be your goal for 2026 Winthrop Valorant?
So the interesting thing about a collegiate program is the constraint around roster building is based on um, people graduating. So
Yes.
Moobs graduates this spring, so we've only got until May with Moobs. So and
Oh,
then he's gets his master's degree and he goes back home to Canada and hopefully has a great career, both in and out of Valorant. But so that's the kind of thing where like it's not up to us. At a certain point we have to always be building. Um, and it makes us very good at. I think we get very good at building rosters in collegiate, just on the basis of like it's a
having to do it.
necessity. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to do it so often.
What do,
Um,
out of curiosity, what do the players on the Winthrop team currently study? This is just me being curious.
Here, I have the list. I can pull it up. I know that I know we have one strange major, which is Peter's major. Governor majors in some kind of like bioscience or something like that. Let's see. It says biology on this sheet, but I think it's something more drilled
Niche,
down than that. But yeah, so
biomechanics, biochemistry. I don't
he's a
know.
yeah he's a biology major. Moobs is in his master's degree, so he's getting his graduate degree in civic engagement. His undergrad was political science,
So
so
cool.
yeah, so it's very interesting. Glyph is an economics major, um, which is a major we see a lot here. To be honest, Phil is Infiltrator is an accounting major, so that guy might do your taxes one day. And um, who am I missing? Ali is a computer science major.
Wow, you got the whole set.
Yeah,
Someone in every
not
field.
a lot of crossover. Yeah, not a lot of crossover. So,
That's pretty
but that's
cool.
the cool thing. You can come here and figure out what you want to do if if you don't make it to tier 1, if you don't end up reaching that dream, like you still have this thing you can do. Like at the end of this, Ali can still be a computer scientist and Infiltrator can be an accountant. And it's cool that they have those opportunities. Um,
It's always good to
if
have a
they're not
backup
able to.
plan.
Right, right. It's a good safety net, and especially where esports is right now, like having a safety net is really important.
Yeah, my bachelor's was in mechanical engineering, and I have never worked a job in that field. I've always been working with as a journalist and as a writer and whatever. So you never know. It's
Follow your
good to have it.
passion.
It's good to
Yeah,
have it
it's
in the
good to
back,
have it. Right.
And also, if my bike stops in the middle of the road, I'm able to pull the chain back on. So there's some practical application to it. It's
There
okay.
you go. There you go.
But it's actually really interesting because this is something that I was curious about because having been through college and knowing how annoying it is sometimes, it's just insane that people can balance basically a professional career while also managing like a school life. And I don't know how
Yeah.
much personal time they have. I hope they have some. I'm pretty sure they do. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so much that's always on your plate, and it wouldn't be possible without like a really good infrastructure or like support in place. So
definitely. It's not for everybody. I will say that. We've had people who've come in and just not been able to manage that balance. It takes a certain individual to be able to do it, and I think like most people can, but not everyone. So
Mm,
there are people out there who are like, I don't think I could do collegiate and pursue tier one, and they might be right. But they'll never know until they try. Our guys are all, I mean, I walked out there half an hour ago, and two of them are, doing their homework in the lab, and you know, the other three, they're probably sleeping in, but because it's Friday. Friday's our off day from classes at
good
Winthrop's.
day
We
to
only
have
have
off.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think that helps balance the schedules too. We only have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday classes, so the guys, they know they really have to grind out those first 4 days of the week, and they've got Friday they can work on homework. If there's tournaments, they can play in those days and stuff like that.
Yeah, tournaments are usually during
But
the
yeah, I
weekend
mean
as
it's a
well,
lot.
so it makes sense.
It's definitely a lot for these guys to balance, though. I mean, it's a lot of hard work.
I remember seeing a tweet
If
that
anyone tells
Governor
you,
was doing homework while
yeah,
Ascension was going on or something, and I was like,
yes,
damn,
yes,
what
they
the
would get
heck?
back from they'd get back from the match, from matches, and they have quizzes or they have homework that they have to do. I had to proctor one of Governor's exams while he was in Brazil. Thankfully, his professor allowed him to do it remotely, but I had to actually like sit on camera and watch him to make sure he wasn't doing anything untoward.
Nefarious, yeah.
Yeah, so but
Wow, that was
those
insane.
guys are, I mean, they're locked in, and that's what it takes. And I think if you asked all of them if it was worth it, they would tell you absolutely.
No, I think I would agree with them because you get a degree, you get to do what you love,
Yeah,
and yeah, it's just something that's a really wonderful opportunity, I think, and hopefully it gets more people into college and collegiate programs in the long run. All the sweaty
yeah,
players that are on the server.
yeah. It's a really cool thing that we've been able to develop here, having basically a pro team structure within a college environment. And one of the cool things that we've been able to develop is to also have an academy program within our program. So we have our varsity teams that compete, at the highest level, compete at the tier two level. We also have these academy teams who are players who are here to still utilize those same resources as the pro team, the facility, the coaching from the players and stuff like that,
That's so cool.
to improve their game, and then they also compete in collegiate events for us. So we have two academy. We actually have two academy Valorant teams that are really good. I mean, we saw that when we were in Brazil, they had to fill in for the varsity team in NACE and in D1, and they actually beat St. Clair,
Oh wow.
who most people would say is like top 5, top 10
Yeah,
Valorant team out there. That's just the having that next man up available, and these guys who are here to try and grind and become, because we've got Infiltrator. He wants to grind to become that tier one pro, but we've also got these academy guys who want to grind to become that tier one pro, but along the way they want to grind to become Infiltrator. They want to get
varsity. They want to get on
to
varsity.
varsity, right? Yeah. So it's a really cool um, thing to have within our program that we're really starting to develop out. Like over the last 2 years, we've been able to 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 develop it out, and now we're continuing to grow it up, and it creates a really cool culture here of people who are always locked in on being the best player they can be and being competitive. It's like a culture of excellence. So, and the more the merrier.
I might use that for my title, a culture of excellence. I like it. So
I like that.
I like it too. And honestly, everything you've built, it kind of proves it. You don't have to say it, but yeah. And to wrap up, I think I've already taken a lot more of your time than I meant to. So thank
Nah,
you.
I told you I'm a yapper.
I'm a yapper too, so it works out. But people are gonna be watching this, and my boss is gonna be like, "Hey, this was supposed to be 30 minutes. What happened?" And I don't
Yeah,
think
you're
my
gonna have to
editor
do
would
some
mind. He's
strong editing.
My editor has got me. My boss editor are the same person, by the way. He's super chill. He's gonna enjoy watching this, I think. But He'll probably
Nice.
cut this part out. Sorry, Lee. But yeah, the last thing probably is, what do you want to say to future prospective joinees at Winthrop, or just people who are looking to who want to do college and games at the same time, which I mean, you guys are doing the best.
Yeah, I would say, if this is something you're passionate about, pursue it. Everyone says that playing a sport is the best thing you can do for developing positive mental health outcomes, and I honestly do think like our players are you know benefit from competing together in this environment, in this culture here, coming to the lab every day and seeing these friends that they've made and these teammates and these bonds that they've created, and being able to, hey, can we study later? Hey, let's get lunch, let's get dinner. Building these cool dynamics like that. There aren't very many places in your life where that can happen, and college is one of them. Don't sell yourself short on not getting that cool experience. And it doesn't have to be at Winthrop. I'm not saying that at all. Winthrop might not be a good fit for everybody. I'll definitely say that. But there's a college out there, that could be for you. It could be the college in your local town. It could be Maryville University or St. Clair. It could be Northwood. It could be Fisher. It could be, any number of schools out there with these programs. Find the one that makes sense for you. Go out and join it and make the most out of it, because you're going to get out of it what you put into it. And it will be a good time, hopefully.
I think it sounds like a pretty good time. I would do it myself if I actually found something that I wanted to study at some points in my life again. But I think, yeah, I'm still deciding. There's always so many things that I want to study, so it's like constantly like back and forth. But
Yeah, and being in college is a good way to figure that out too. Because I mean, I changed my major 4 or 5 times. I think when I was in school,
that's so cool.
I didn't know what to do. So, and you're 18, 19, 20. You have no idea what you want to do for the rest of your life. Come figure it out. You
Hey,
know.
I'm 28 and I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life. It's okay, it's fine. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm 37, and sometimes I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life. So,
Very reassuring for people watching this, I'm sure. But work
yeah,
out. That's the point. You do what you love, and hopefully someday it'll eventually work out. That's like my
for
that's like
sure.
my what do you call it? Motivation
That's the mantra,
mantra. Yes, thank you. That's the word.
no doubt.
No doubt.